Governor Jerry Brown signed several bills last month to help veterans with transitional and affordable housing. Here with more on what that means to former military troops in San Diego is Phil Landis, President and Executive Director of the Veterans Village of San Diego. Welcome back, Phil.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, there's 1 in 4 homeless people in San Diego, I understand, are military veterans. What are the demographics of this group right now compared to the pre-9/11 conflicts?
Well, that's a great question, and it really talks about what our future is going to be. Our demographics are shifting, and as you might presuppose, we are seeing a lot more younger men and women.
And women, speaking of that, there seems to be a surge, or at least plenty of reports about it, about sexual trauma in the military, especially for women. Are you seeing military sexual trauma issues more in the veterans that you talk with?
Yeah, we are. In fact, every one of the young women that come to us for assistance is suffering in part with military sexual trauma. It is a growing problem for our population.
How do you assist them?
Well, it takes a lot of gentle guidance. Safety is a major concern, and time. Just time in a right therapeutic environment helps a great deal.
And we'll come back to that when we're talking about the housing situation. How much money could San Diego get from the governor's bill to fund affordable housing, and how soon might we see it here?
Boy, that's a great question. First of all, we can't see it soon enough, but the answer is how much? We just don't know. We know that there's a pot out there of $600 million. It's statewide, and I will tell you that San Diego is certainly going to be out there, looking for an appropriate amount for our community.
Certainly, because we have one of the largest veterans populations, homeless veterans populations for sure, but veteran populations in the United States.
Yes, we do.
How would you like to see that money spent specifically here in San Diego?
Well, I'd like to see us build more permanent housing for low-income and deserving veterans. We know that there is a need for that. In fact, our agency, Veterans Village, is in the process of building permanent housing, but we need more of it.
How about for dorms, especially I'm thinking coming back to the military women who might need to be in separate quarters as far as people staying for their safety or their feeling of safety?
Well, feeling of safety is correct. There's a difference between reality and perception. If your perception is you're not safe, you're not safe. So you need separate quarters, if possible, and we'd like to build them.
Would there be any of this money spent on dorms or temporary housing as well?
Well, there's a multitude of different housing styles. I don't know how a dormitory would play out in all of this, but whatever's most efficient is what we should be doing.
Update us on the permanent housing situation for homeless veterans right now. Where do we stand right now?
Well, there's very little of it. When we say permanent housing, we're thinking in terms of a shelter that affords long-term residency for a veteran. And when we think in terms of veteran permanent housing, we want to create communities of veterans. That seems to work best and it's most therapeutic.
Okay, I know housing is the first step, but I understand there could be some more accessible medical clinics coming to San Diego. Give us an update on that.
Well, that's very cool. One of the things that we've identified is a lack of outpatient mental health clinics in San Diego County. And that, again, is an initiative that Veterans Village is looking at to develop, and wouldn't be a bad idea to do it in partnership with the VA as well.
Some storefront types where they were more accessible, or I should say accessible.
Right.
How about jobs, training and job placement? What's going on in San Diego for that, for our veterans?
It's a tough economy. I mean, it's difficult not only for veterans, but it is for non-veterans as well that are seeking employment. Remember, there's a difference between employment and life-sustaining employment. You can work for $7 an hour, but you're not going to sustain yourself very well. And so we want to attract businesses from employers within our community that will provide life-sustaining opportunities for our veterans. But it is a struggle.
And you're a Vietnam veteran, correct? On a personal note, do you think things are getting better or worse for people leaving the military?
Well, I think they're getting much better. I mean, when I look at our generation of warriors, when we came home, we weren't very well received by American society. It's the antithesis of that today. It's phenomenal today. People have opened up their arms and they're saying, hey, come on, we welcome you. What can we do to help you? I think that is the lasting benefit of our generation pushing it forward.
And Phil, what do you think the challenge, if you had to name the top couple of challenges for the military troops coming home, for the veterans today, what do you think that would be?
Well, it's more than a couple, but I would say employment. We touched upon that. It is critical. And the other is mental health care.
Okay, Phil Landis, thank you very much for this update on Veterans Day.
Oh, thank you. It's been an honor to be here.